Hello, my name is Navigator, and in today's video I'm going to be going over my character lore and a little build for it as well. Now this is something that I've honestly been wanting to do for a while. I had a little write-up about this, and just like any other Fallout player who plays the game as much as I do, you obviously, kind of have a little story for your character, even if it's just like a sentence, who knows. But I want to also thank Wastelord for honestly pushing me to make this. He came up with the idea to make a character lore kind of build video. I had a video of going over my story in mind, but he decided to make it, he's working on his right now, so I figured I would pump out mine as well, and we can actually, they'll be intertwined a little bit. So I suggest that when he drops his video, you be sure to check that out, and I'll have his channel linked down below, because he's got a bunch of other cool videos out right now that you can totally check out. So without further ado, I want to talk about, actually, with further ado, I want to say a couple things. So, this is, I guess you could call this an OC. I've heard that term thrown around a lot. It means original character. I see that term associated a lot with, like, the furry community and, like, like fandoms, or I forget what the word is called, fan fiction. That's what I see it a lot in. That is not what I'm doing today. I'm not like, trying to pretend to be some like 6'10" giant dude or some bullshit like that. Like, I'm not trying to do some weird shit or like try to pretend to be something that I'm not. This character is actually very similar to me in real life. Obviously, I've never lived through a nuclear explosion, but his interest, his skills are very similar to ones that I share in real life. I'm not going to be talking about a lot of my real life stuff going on, but there is going to be some things in his story that are very similar to me. So, with all of that being said, let's get into this. So, my name is Navigator. I originally got that name from helping out a group of settlers who were trying to go to Foundation. They were pretty lost, and fortunately I knew the way, and once we got there they said, "Hey man, you're almost like a navigator," and I liked it a lot, so I started using it. I'm not originally from West Virginia by any means. I was born in Laguna Beach, California, and I lived out there for 16 years of my life. When I was a kid, I was pretty much like everybody else. I mean, I went to school, I had a lot of friends, I played sports. My biggest one was swimming. Oh man, I love swimming. Any kind of water, stuff like that. Oh, I'm there. Don't even try me, man. It could be 2 feet of water and I'm taking off all my clothes and going in there. I love swimming, but man, you cannot do that nowadays, I'll tell you, with all the radiation in the water. That's one thing I do miss. Other than that, I'm trying to think. Like, I used to play a lot of, Nuka Tap or shit like that, and I used to love history. I loved history, and I loved the outdoors as well. I actually used to be a pioneer scout, and I got my possum rank, but this is kind of where the story takes a turn. So, if you guys have ever been in the Scouts at all, both real life or in-game, whatever, you'll know that once you reach the highest rank, you have a ceremony. So when I was getting my possum, I was going to have a nice ceremony for that, and my parents thought that it would be nice to invite my grandparents over from West Virginia, have them fly over and stay at the ceremony. Now, just before that happened, actually, my grandfather got sick with this totally weird illness. We actually never got to find out what it was, unfortunately, but it was so weird, and my parents were busy at the time, so they thought that I could go over there just to cheer him up. Maybe that would help him out a lot, feel better. Unfortunately, though, it didn't. He actually passed away suddenly and very unexpectedly. It was really crazy how fast that disease took him over. He had a pretty good reputation in town, though. He and my grandmother lived in a place called Flatwoods, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with nowadays. He ran an automobile business, and he had a pretty good reputation, so he was offered a spot along with my grandmother at the nearby Vault 76. Unfortunately, he passed away, but my grandmother negotiated with Vault Tech to actually have that swapped so that I could stay in the vault. Now, this all happened really on short notice. This was kind of just at the gate. We were there. We were going to have the funeral. My parents were supposed to come out, and then just about a week before Halloween, the bombs dropped. It was not a good thing at all. Saw a lot of people get denied from the vault that day, women and children, and it was not something I ever wanted to see repeated. Sorry, it's just thinking about that gets me a little emotional sometimes, but I was very thankful that my grandmother worked so hard on such short notice to get me into that vault. I don't think I could ever forgive her, ever thank her enough for that. But the next question was, where the fuck is the rest of my family? My parents were originally supposed to fly over. Thankfully, I'm an only child. I didn't really have to worry about any siblings, but I still did have to worry about my mom and dad, and so did my grandfather, or sorry, my grandmother. We were in that vault for 25 years total. We spent 15 of it together, and I spent the other 10 alone after my grandmother passed away. That was mostly of natural causes, though. The health care, the medication within the vault was very superb, so she had a very nice and peaceful death, unlike many others that we saw. Sorry, guys, just it's rough thinking about this. I really haven't thought about this stuff in a long time. Once they opened the vault, though, I thought it would be a good idea to go find my family. I thought that'd probably be the best course of action. I got some supplies from the vault. I found some just outside, and I decided to walk. I had a compass. My Pip-Boy was helping me out a lot, and I actually managed to get as far as Utah, if you'll believe that. The entire trip was just shy of an entire year, and it was something that I never want to do again. I really don't plan on doing any trips like that ever again, I'll tell you that. You see a lot of crazy shit as you go across this place. This is not the country that it used to be, as I'm sure you know. I got turned around in Utah, though. That was kind of where I made the decision to, preserve myself. There was no point in continuing to search if I didn't even think I would be able to continue on and preserve myself. So I turned around. I went south a little bit, though, and I found myself in Zion National Park. And I was going through there, and I actually got caught in a trap. I was looking for this cave to, spend the night in as I was continuing to move, and I got caught in this wire trap. But thankfully, there was a guy that came to help me out. He was the one that set up the trap, but he was very, very kind and understanding of my situation, and I actually managed to live with him for a couple weeks there, and he was definitely one of the most important factors in the turning point of my life. Sorry, getting emotional here, all that. I spent a lot of time alone. I mean, I was 16 when the bombs dropped. It definitely was not easy. I just had my grandmother for the most part, but coming into my own as a man, hitting 18, back in the old world, that would have been, getting a drink, getting some smokes. It wasn't really the same case. It was very difficult to kind of discover who I was, what I was going to be, without any help. But fortunately, the man, Randall Clark, who I met in Zion, helped me with a lot of that. He was a former military man who had also lost his family, unfortunately, and he had interests similar to mine. He was an outdoorsman and a survivalist at that. He was very, very helpful to me. He taught me a lot, but one of the biggest things that he really set me on is he told me to come back here to West Virginia and to help rebuild. He said that, a lot of people don't have a lot of things anymore. There's not a lot that people can hold on to. There's not a lot of hope that people can believe in. But if someone like me, with the teachings that he gave me, were to go back there and spread a hopeful and positive message in the wasteland, there was a good chance that we could actually rebuild and make something good. And as the years have progressed, that has become a reality. And thanks to, not just me, but the work of a lot of other survivors here in West Virginia, this place has become pretty hospitable and pretty caring and kind to those that are living here. I'm very thankful. He taught me a lot. He told me to always make new friends, and that is something that I definitely have done. Upon returning here, I actually met some other survivors that some of you may know from our broadcasts. Those include, Wastelord, Monkey, Stretch, Excuse, a bunch of other guys. They've really helped me out here in the wasteland a lot, and I love them dearly. I don't know what I would do without them, but yeah, we have a lot of stories together, a lot of adventures together, and I'm sure that there will be another time to share more of those. But yeah, that's really all I have for you today. That's my story, folks. I don't really share it too often, but there you have it. That is the lore, the story of the Navigator. All right, folks, so just kind of stepping back from the whole roleplay, I guess, element, that is the story that I have come up with for my character. I think it's a pretty good one, if you ask me. Obviously, just kind of stepping out of this again, the Survivalist is my favorite character in the entire Fallout series, and I had to incorporate him into there some way, and actually, he technically is still alive right now in Fallout 76. He is still out there. He doesn't die, at least I think for another 15 years, so yeah. it all comes full circle, and I think it all makes sense. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed that part of it. The next thing I want to talk about is kind of just like my build, the stuff that I really like to use. I made a video very early on in my channel. It's called "What I Carry on Me as a Rifleman Build," and that was basically a description of my rifleman build, what I have on me, my outfit, so on and so forth. But what I'm going to be talking about in this next part is going to be, my favorite outfits to wear, what kind of like I'm recognized as, and my main build that I like to use. And this is going to be A, kind of a lore, going over my character, stuff like that, and B, a helpful thing for you guys to see what I use when I play the game, perks, stuff like that. So, with that being said, we're going to step out here, and I'm going to show some stuff off. So, let's hop out here. So one of the outfits that I wear the most is definitely going to be the ghillie suit, and a lot of you guys are probably familiar with that when it comes to me. It is one of my favorite outfits. Anything with jeans, I love. I wear jeans all day, every day in real life, so I might as well wear them out here. I love the ghillie suit element as well, and obviously my trademark is going to be the Raider Pathfinder mask, the black eye patch, and the cowboy hat. So if you guys are out there and you want it to look like me, make sure you got all that stuff on. And my favorite backpack is 100% the Blue Ridge Caravan backpack. I grinded my ass off for this, and there is no shot I am ever taking it off for good. Alright folks, that's just a little brief about my outfit and stuff, just the stuff that I love to wear. The headwear at least is never changing. So let's come over here to my perk card machine. And I'm going to go over my rifleman build. This is my main build, although it is for the rifleman class. There's a lot of other perks that are kind of tailored to what I like to play with. So over here in strength, I have strong back on. That's going to help me with my carry weight. Carry weight is something that is very important to me. I am somebody that loves picking up everything and then going and selling it, so I might as well have that on. I also have traveling pharmacy and bandolier on because I have a lot of stim packs and ammo. So all of these perks together are very good for weight management. In perception, I'm not going to talk about these at all. These are all the rifleman perks you need. You can see them right here. If you're looking for a maxed out rifleman build, max out your perception to 15 and have all of these perks on. That's going to help you do the most, at least for perception, with a rifle. Over here in endurance, I have life giver on, and that's just going to help out my overall health. And I typically don't wear power armor, so I always have a maxed out ironclad on, and that just helps me stay alive. Over here in charisma, I mainly have tenderizer on because that will help with after fire damage, if that makes sense. I have inspirational on because I am always on a team, always, unless I'm making a video. And then I also have animal friend on, just kind of a fun perk. I had another point here, and I figured that this would be pretty useful. Sometimes you're fighting, and maybe that's one less enemy that you have to fight, or you're just messing around. You want a friend out there in the wasteland. There you go. Over here in intelligence, first aid, that's very similar to life giver. It's just gonna help me, stay alive, all that shit. Demolition expert, I use a lot of explosive rifles, so that's gonna help me with that. And batteries included, that's gonna work with my energy weapon ammo, which even though I don't use it for this build, I always carry all of my heavy ammo, like not heavy in regards to the build, but like weight wise, all of my heavy ammo I carry on me because I have this and bandolier on, and it's a lot easier and it weighs a lot less than putting it in my stash box. Over here in agility, I have Born Survivor on. This is pretty decent, to staying alive. If I'm in the middle of a firefight and, I can't use a stim pack, this is very, very beneficial. I have Marathoner on, as well as Action Boy. This will allow me to, run the farthest, manage my speed, get the best I can out of the running aspect. Over here in luck, I have the Starch Jeans and Class Freak perks on. Those help me suppress my mutations, although I do not have Class Freak maxed out all the way. You don't really need it. And then over here, I have Bloody Mess on as well. This is good for any build because it does a 50% bonus damage. Folks, that is my build. This is the build that I mainly use for this game. I really haven't changed this up too much, so if you are a rifleman and you're looking for a build to use, for the rest of the game, this is really great. It's good for XP, it's good for staying alive, it's good for DR and damage as well. So there you have it, folks. Interesting video today. Again, I want to thank Wastelord for kind of pushing me to get this out there. It was kind of two halves there. I guess the first one was a little bit more or less me acting and stuff like that, and this next part, or was the second part, I guess, was just more of like who I am and what I use in the game. Another little feature I could kind of add is if you guys have ever seen any of my videos about Fort Ulysses, I have a little R. Clark box here, and this is something that he actually gave to me when I was in Zion Canyon. Now, the last part I want to talk about very, very briefly, because I just thought about it, is actually going to be this camp right here. If you guys are fans of the channel, you will know that this is Fort Ulysses, and this is my main base of operations. What I tried to make this look like was an old, kind of repossessed Civil War fort, and actually tailor-made wasteland. If you end up seeing this video at some point in the future, you actually hit that right on the head in my video on this. You figured out exactly what I was going for. So I'm not going to do a full analysis on this camp. You can go find out that video, but this kind of fits in with my lore a little bit. I love history. I'm a big outdoorsman, kind of like the rustic build, and I figured that this old, kind of like repurposed Civil War camp would be perfect for me. I just think it works really, really well. It's very rustic, very lore friendly, and this is definitely my favorite camp ever. I'm never getting rid of this because it's bad. Not only is it badass, but it really kind of fits in with my story very, very well. So that's all I have for you guys today. Again, thanks to Wastelord, and be sure to check out his channel. He'll be having a video like this coming out very soon. It will be different than mine. I'm sure he'll be a little more in character with that, but I figured I would get out my story because some of you might be interested in it. That's all I got for you guys today. I'll have Wastelord's channel linked down below, and I have another interview coming later today for you guys. So hope you enjoyed. My name is Navigator. Have a nice day. Take care.